Well, hello, and welcome back to the Backlog, and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2. We are getting close to the end of the game, I feel. We've only got a couple of things left. We just got to contact Carmen. Got to wait for him to wake up, pretty much. And then we'll be done with that. We'll be able to upgrade another one of our dice, because we'll have a drive finished. Oh, this is a major drive, so yeah, we'll have done some stuff. And then we just gotta do this and go back to Darkside and win the game. It'll be great. We've got good dice, but as we leave the rig, we find a figure waiting for us in the docking tunnel. You think of Xander's hostile greeting when you first arrived. Was that him again?
Where are you headed?
Flint leans away from the wall. Now, out of the battered suit you first saw them in. The damage to their frame is concealed beneath their overalls, but you're still aware of it, just beneath the surface. I don't actually know. Scrap sorting farming stacks?
Same.
Flint nods in the direction of the colony.
I'll join you.
You float together through the docks in silence. Flint makes you nervous, and their insistence on intercepting you in this cycle hasn't exactly calmed that sensation. Breaking the silence eventually becomes unavoidable. How did you end up here? Flint stares ahead, continuing their glide.
Same as everyone else in Oliveira. Carmen found me.
The mention of Carmen's name recalls the image of him floating unconscious in the light of your work lamps, in those deep and winding caves. You suppress a shudder. Flint gives you a sideways look, their mask-like face betraying no emotion.
It's good you found us.
They pause as you both move through the doorway.
Could have been sooner.
They blink.
But better than nothing.
Looking at Flint gives you an unsettling feeling, like catching your own reflection in a polished hull plate. Is this what others feel like when they speak with you? Watching the crooked mask, the lit irises, for signs of human emotion, interpreting the stuttering emulations of facial expressions as they cross your doll-like face. Flint turns away again, and you realize that they might feel the same looking at you. Each the other's mirror, each reminding the other of the gap between being and being seen. What happened out there? Flint pauses.
I made a mistake. One I won't make again.
They frown and stare forward, offering nothing more. You arrive together in the cavernous hall containing the scrap silos, the cacophonous echoing of sorting already filling the air.
So, Sleeper.
Flint's face curls in amusement as he uses the mononym everyone refers to you by.
Oliveira asks all of those it harbors to contribute to the colony. Show me what you can do.
Oh, we got 100% positive on that. Oh, I picked right. You and Flint glide into the sorting bay where you scrap from the silos is delivered to the waiting workers, ready to be checked, cleaned, and cast into the different nets at the fringes of the space. You find a sorting station and begin picking up chunks of ship and machine, turning them over in your hands. As you inspect the scrap, the ghost of their original place in a bigger structure becomes apparent. Each piece suggests a whole, a drive casing, a loading bay, a life support unit. You burn away corrosion with a torch, crack open rusted casings to release the components inside like seeds. You find new life in the broken and discarded pieces. Something makes you look to one side, a glint that catches your eye, and there's Flint, taking a rest of their own. You see a glint again, Flint turning something over in their fingers, watching it spin. A vial of stabilizer.
My last vial.
Flint speaks without taking their eyes off the drug. Even through the haze of your lost memories, you can recall the fizzing, sickening pulse of that injection, the dependence your reboot freed you from.
Saving it for a special occasion.
Flint pockets the vial and meets your eye.
You don't need a stabilizer, do you?
Flint moves away from the wall they were resting against.
I noticed you were different from the first moment we met, but I didn't realize what it was until now. The way you work, the way you move, without dependence. I see it now.
Flint folds their arms. Tell them about the reboot. You tell them about the process you and Seraphin attempted in Darkside, the one that Lane interrupted. They listen absent-mindedly, watching the workers instead of you.
That's not all, though, is it?
Flint meets your eye.
There's something wrong with you. More than just your decaying frame. Your signal, your presence smells different.
I'm changing. Flint looks up. Looks you up and down.
I can see that. But I wonder what you're changing into. I know I am. What I bring to this place, all of these people are at risk because of me.
They look out at the workers.
That means you too are a risk. A risk to your crew, to me, and more importantly, to this place. Olivera will welcome you just as it welcomed me.
Flint stretches.
And it will do so in spite of itself and its own safety. I want you to know that, because they will pay the cost. Those close to you. And you must know that they pay it for you.
With that, Flint turns and glides away, leaving no space for a response. You watch them leave, their billowing cloak revealing and concealing the glinting and ragged parts of their exposed skeleton as they go. Okay. We've got 1 day in here to figure out fuel extraction. You're permitted to extract fuel for your own use, but you have to oversee the complex automated process yourself. Okay. Supply gathering consists of harvest pack supplies. Okay. Component hunt. Scrap silos. Okay. So that one gets us +2 on there. Huh. Okay, well, nuts to that noise. So let's not do the farm stacks, because I can always just go to the rig and spin dice to get supplies there. Let's come over here, since this gives me a +2, and see what component hunt does. Oh, just scrap the components. Cool. Then let's grab some fuel. I don't know, but I'm feeling like we'll need a bunch. One more. One more ought to do it. Perfect. And then let's come over here to our lovely little fruiting bodies. And we'll grab another supply. So we've got nice 3. Very good. All right, that's the end of another cycle. Hopefully we'll find another supply and get up to 4. I have a feeling we're going to need them sooner rather than later. Oh, cruddy dice. The sound of raised voices echoes through the tunnel. Following them, you find yourself at the entrance to the clinic, where Flint and Xander are locked in a bitter argument.
I won't take you out there, Flint.
Xander's pleading with the sleeper.
Look what happened to Carmen. They'll kill you. What happened to Carmen is exactly why I have to go. They will find me here. And when that happens...
The whole colony can hear you too. Seraphin comes out of the clinic with Candence. You trying to wake up Carmen? You see Seraphin clock you. Standing in the passageway. Your eyes meet and Seraphin looks away. You see Seraphin clock you. Clock you. So he comes over and punches us? Alright, devs, I don't think this means what you think it means. Or at least it means something different to me than it means to you, because that's... you see Seraphin clock you. Clock you. Clock you. Yeah, anyway. Your eyes meet and Seraphin looks away. Neither of you have seen each other since you brought Carmen back to Olivera.
I'm trying to make sure what happened to Carmen doesn't happen to anyone else.
Flint folds their arms.
I'm the reason he's like he is, and that means it's on me to fix it.
What are you talking about? You catch Flint off guard. They hadn't seen you waiting in the passageway.
An ARP came from me. That's what happened out in the debris field.
They look down.
You know what that means.
An ARP. The company that created you, the company you escaped, the idea of them bearing down on this place sets your nerves on edge. You've long since slipped their grasp. Lane disabled your tracker in exchange for unwavering service. A gift that became a trap. But Flint is still on the run, and if Asenarp attacked Carmen's ship, they can't be far away. You look at Flint and see the fear in their eyes. Your tracker's still active.
Oliveira is shrouded.
Flint looks towards the center of the colony.
Carmen managed to get hold of a signal shroud and sent it up here. He wanted to keep everyone safe. There's no way Asenarp can track me here.
Am I missing something? Seraphin interrupts. If they can't find you here, what's the problem?
It's not just about the tracker. That hunter found me in the debris field. They know I escaped. It's only a matter of time before their search brings them here.
Silence falls on the group as the inevitability of the problem sets in. Xander looks distraught.
You can't, Flint,
Xander says in a quiet voice.
They'll kill you.
Seraphin glances at you and Flint in turn, and you see his mind working on a solution. He looks away, frowning.
I'm sorry, Xander. This is how it is.
Flint looks dejected. Unless we get them first. Seraphin smiles an impish smile.
Seraphin, what are you thinking?
Candence speaks up for the first time. We know there's a hunter out there, scouring the shoals, and we know they're looking for you, Flint. Seraphin shrugs. That means we have the upper hand. We don't need to bring them here. We can bring them anywhere we want. Seraphin looks around at the group. So we get set, we prepare a little surprise, and then we wait. Flint is already shaking their head.
The hunter could arrive here at any moment. We don't have time for this. If they had a ship, I would have left already.
Then we move you now. We take you somewhere we can prepare, and we work hard and fast and get an ambush set. When the hunter comes, Seraphin grins, we spring the trap. What kind of trap? That we still have to figure out, Seraphin admits. But you have to admit it beats going out to die without a plan. He shoots Flint a look. And hey, if we fail, the outcome will be the same anyway. Flint doesn't respond immediately. You can see them thinking it through, considering their options.
I'm coming.
Xander has a determined look on his face.
We're doing this, and I'm coming.
Look, kid, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but this is the real thing. A bounty hunter is not going to...
Stop patronizing me.
Xander cuts him off.
I know the shoals. You need me out there.
The conversation suddenly devolves into many small arguments. The location, who should go, how to approach the ambush. The noise grows.
The old Solheim manufactory.
Canden's voice rises clear and precise through the noise.
That's where you do it. It's on a rock far enough from here, and it's a real labyrinth. You can lead the hunter there and get him lost inside.
Canden's eyes are bright and determined.
The place is full of old machines, ordnance. We've been afraid to scavenge any of it. It's so unstable.
You notice Seraphin watching Canden's speak, clearly impressed by this sudden shift towards decisive action.
We could bring the whole place down in their head.
Xander picks up Candence's thread.
I know the manufactory. It's a good idea.
You look between those gathered. Seraphin, stubborn and protective. Candence's sharp eyes. Xander's relentless desire to get involved. And Flint, a sleeper like you. A sleeper in need of escape. Carmen was building something here. A shrouded haven. A place that needs protecting. He may be unconscious behind those doors, floating amongst the wires and the tubes of the clinic. But something of him is here, in this group, making a plan of resistance. Flint's eyes meet yours, and you know what has to be done. The rig will leave Oliveira this cycle. You have a hunter to trap. Oh, okay. So we get one more cycle to get supplies, and we're full of supplies, never mind. We managed to get supplies, and we have to free Flint. Okay, cool. I wonder what would have happened had we gone the other route. Corroded plates, twisted struts, scattered scrap. The manufactory makes for a familiar sight. Just one more ragged artifact from the corporation that once owned this system. Despite that, something about it sets you on edge. Perhaps because it also will form the crucible for your attempt to take on an SNR punter. The kind whose entire job is to bring in escaped sleepers like you, dead or alive. The rig is tucked behind a rock, running on low power with its transponder off. You hope that's enough not to draw attention. So talk us through it. Seraphin turns back to Flint, Candace, and Xander, all of whom are crammed into the cockpit along with your crew.
We have to make this place look like a colony. That's what the hunter will expect.
Candace suggests first, her voice quavering a little with anxiety.
We can seal up some of the holes, maybe install some lighting, fake it up.
Okay, Seraphin nods reassuringly. That's good. What then?
We force him to go deep.
Xander cuts in, and everyone looks at him. He pauses, a little intimidated by the attention, but Flint nods at him to continue.
I've been out here before on a salvage run. There's an assembly line that runs through the whole place, filled with old manufacturing machines. We seal doors, activate machines, making amazing manufacturing construction arms and dead ends.
All right then, control their route. I like it. Seraphin smiles at Xander. And if we get lucky, maybe one of those old machines will do the job for us.
I doubt it.
Flint joins in.
We'll need the ordnance from the silos. Mining charges fuel, whatever's left from when this place was churning out Solheim goods.
They furrow their brow.
We blow the place to make sure.
A silence passes through the cockpit, the danger of what you're about to attempt dawning on everyone present. Okay. Seraphin has a dark look. That's the plan. We can detonate the old ordnance with a command from the rig. A simple wideband comm signal. We'll get him. Seraphin pats Flint on the shoulder. Once they go in, that hunter isn't coming back out. He turns to you. Anything we missed? Won't the trap be obvious? Yeah.
Then I engage.
Flint rubs their hands together nervously.
I lead them in directly, right?
Right. Seraphin confirms grimly. How long do you think we have? There's a lot of factory down there.
The hunter got to me and Carmen fast.
Flint looks out of the cockpit.
No more than 3 cycles. When the hunter came for us,
Flint grimaces, remembering the attack on Carmen's ship.
They came out of nowhere, hit us hard and fast. If it wasn't for Carmen, we need to be ready for anything.
Flint looks at you.
There won't be a warning.
Seraphin sighs. Nice pep talk. Flint, you better find somewhere deep in that place, down in the bedrock. We'll make sure it has a back door, okay? He nods at the sleeper. The rest of us will get to work. All right, you heard Flint. We do this and we do it right. We make our stand on this rock. Let's not waste a moment more. Okay, we got some good dice from both of these, and Eugen also brought a nice 1 for us. That's terrible. I hate it. I brought a couple of 1s, so, I mean, he's in good company. Okay, let's get the storage silos. This looks like it could be Green's turn to shine. Let's get this one in here. Good. Blue, you can go there as well. Let's see, do we have somewhere else where green would be good? Oh, this is just me. This is mine here. Y'all are terrible. This one can also be green or blue. All right. So this one's mine for sure. Factory dock. Oh, okay. So so it's these 3. So lovely. Great. All right. So I will focus my efforts here then, hacking the machines. Oh, good. I got a nice little bit of stress. That's neutral. Terrible. Oh, got positive. Nice. I might be able to use this too, but I'm definitely going to use this push to get a 5. To try this again. Let's get halfway. Halfway would be great. Perfect. Okay, and then I think these 2 are just going to finish this up. Yes. Okay, halfway done. We can try the one. It is dangerous. Is the other one over here less dangerous? It's risky, but he's also terrible at it. Never mind. Oh no, just too stressed. Boo! Okay, so let's see. I can try. Both of these are dangerous. Is there one where I get a plus and it's just risky? Yeah, like this. Just a stress. Okay. All right. We're going to leave this one here. I don't need the extra. I mean, I could risk it, but I'm feeling like I don't need to risk it just quite yet. We've got at least 2 more cycles and just bad dice running around. Great. All right, Nia. Come over here. Let's finish this at least. Y'all should be able to have this one handily, right? That's a little bit dangerous. Let's try over here. Okay, one more. And this will be finished. Good. Boom!
Go easy with that.
Flint's voice rumbles over local comms as you secure the final piece of ordnance. You turn to see them floating, backlit in the entrance to the bay. One of many that you've rigged with ordnance deep in the manufactory. Down here, dust and flecks of rust float through the beams of your lights, and the walls are bent and buckled. They've spent the past cycles here, picking out a spot to draw the hunter down to. One they should be able to slip out of when the hunter finds their way in. It's a long time to be down in these dark tunnels, waiting.
Looks like we're just about done.
Their voice is flat, their tone pragmatic. You okay? Flint nods.
Eager to be done with this.
They look at over their shoulder.
However it plays out.
Flint glides into the bay slowly.
There's something I need to tell you. Something I think you will understand. What we're doing out here is not about saving me, it's about Oliveira.
You struggle to see Flint's face with the light behind them.
I should be on a ship out of there, leading this hunter away. But they won't let me do that.
They shake their head in frustration.
And even if they would, they can't spare the ship. Not after Carmen's got shot up. That was my mistake. I never should have let him persuade me to come with him on that supply run.
Flint looks down.
What's done is done. What matters now, what I need from you is a promise.
Flint's bright irises flash.
That you'll bring this place down with me in it, if it means stopping the hunter.
I promise. Flint nods.
I knew you'd understand. You know as well as I that those who get close to us are at risk. That we, as sleepers, have to recognize that we're open, what we open the door to. Carmen is my fault. I won't be Oliveira's downfall too.
With that, they turn and leave you in the dark. All right, let's see here. I've got dice left, and Nia's got a single die left. So let's plunge ahead here. I should be able to finish this just fine. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, no more negative outcomes, right? No, I said none of that. Fine. We will reduce some stress. There we go. All right, I do have a 2. I could turn it into a 3 and try again. Boo. Boo. Okay, Nia, here. You've got a 3. Perfect. I will try this one because I get a 3, and it should be just 1 stress if I fail. It's no stress. Yay, we used all the dice. Wonderful. Sheesh. Fine, okay. I'll have to play it simple and careful next round. Come on, good dice. Okay, we did lose one of our dice standings here. Oh, and one over here too. Oh, we got some good dice. All right, Nia, we got to work on those ones. Those ones are not good, actually. Come to find out. Nia, we could probably use this. Oh, no, that's just a 2. Never mind. I'm thinking blue here. All right, we're going to try using this one over here. Come on, get us 2. There it is. Hey, he took a stress, but he got us the thing. You float for a moment, observing the chaos of the old assembly line. The scale of the structure. The number of machines, the arms and fabricators, the welders and bolters, suggests industry on a scale that you've never witnessed. The Helion system, a system that now subsists on the leftovers of its failed corporate owners, was once filled with manufactories like this, churning out components and technologies, machines and resources for extracting the valuable materials and minerals that Solheim existed to amass. If someone was able to rebuild one of these places, put it back into operation, imagine what could be fed into the belt. What changes could come for its people? Yet no one will undertake such a task, because this place is haunted by the specter of Solheim, an entity that every being in this system can trace their origins back to, an entity that turned the entire system into a manufactory, a machine for accumulation, and that did not distinguish between human and machines as it did. You look at the broken machines, worn down and rusted, crippled and bent. Some of them have been put back into use this past cycle as part of your plan, and those jerk or turn randomly, blindly groping for components that will never be fed to them. None of them are sentient machines like you, and so they cannot feel or think, and yet you cannot decide if for them to persist is a kind of cruelty that radiates from the system that created them, or the indication of a new life. One that grants them new function, new meaning, and the possibility of something more.
Creepy, right?
Xander floats beside you, his voice hissing through the close-range comms.
Maybe the hunter will get spooked by those twitching arms.
He imitates the scattered movements of the factory machines. More sad than creepy. Xander shrugs.
If you say so. So,
Xander gives you a look.
How come this hunter isn't chasing you?
My tracker's deactivated.
Huh?
Xander shoots you a look.
Look at you. Who did that?
My captor. Xander goes quiet.
I see.
Let's focus on the hunter. Xander nods quietly. Xander looks out at the assembly line and sighs.
I like Flint. I'm happy to do this for him.
He turns back to you.
And I want to like you too. So don't mess this up, all right?
Xander gives you a hard look.
Don't let Flint down.
Xander kicks off and glides toward the exit without waiting for a response. You watch him go for a moment before turning away. There's still so much to do. And we've got lots of dice to do it. Okay, we should be able to finish this round. Because, yeah, we are almost done, really. Booyah! All right, we are going to risk it a little bit. Because we've got space. Okay, she'll take a little stress to get us halfway. Good. Now you can bring your 5 over here and get us another 2. Give me a 2. Come on, 2 it up. There you go. Oh, a little bit. Whoa! No more stress for you. Shoot. All right, and then I actually need to push and use this 4 to get rid of some stress, so I'm not cracking my dice as much. Very good. Now I just need 3. Here, can we get a 3 over here? No, it's still just a 2. Still just a 2. All right, fine. The 3-part plan is finished.
You know,
Candance's voice comes over the comms, shimmering with interference.
From here it doesn't look half bad.
You look across the shell of the manufactory, now studded with lights and dotted with markings. The fresh welds and plates giving the whole place a fragile patchwork feeling.
If I was a piece of garbage hunter, this is what I think a normal person's settlement would look like, right?
We better hope so. Candance goes quiet for a moment, her attempt at humor only serving to remind you both of the desperate circumstances.
Have you spoken to Flint?
Candance pauses.
I mean really spoken?
Not really.
Oh.
Candace searches for a response.
Flint is very loyal. I know they're quiet and, well, intense, but,
She sighs.
I just hope you two can find some common ground.
We get on just fine.
Of course. Sorry.
Candace stops again.
Olivera's a refuge.
Candace takes a breath.
For all of us. I was in trouble when I met Carmen. We all were, in one way or another. Seraphine has told me a lot about you.
Candace hesitates.
And I can see what you're trying to do for Flint. For Olivera. I appreciate it, and I know Xander does, and Carmen will do as well. And Flint...
Candace pauses.
Well, you'll see.
The comms click off, returning you to the silence of the manufactory. You look out across the false colony at the glittering lights. They're a poor imitation of Olivera's real lights, those that indicate the colony's fragile, delicate state. You shake it off and move on. This isn't over yet. Okay, let's come over here and grab some of this real quick. Extra supplies. That's what I like to see. I can't get rid of any stress, though, so we've got an extra wasted die. I'm not going to try a 2 in there, because I think you do actually take stress if you get a neutral or negative outcome. So let's not. Only a 1 will crack one of my dice. Oh, whoa, I got 3 ones. Terrible rolls. Wake up, sleeper. Seraphine's in the bunks. We've got incoming. You shake off the haze of forgotten dreams and get up. In moments, you're in the cockpit. Xander, Candace, and Seraphine all gathered around the console. On it, the local view shows nothing. A single ship signal. And few objects beyond a scattering of debris. It was right there. I swear it. Seraphine jabs at the screen. A ship. Small, but definitely a ship.
Seraphine?
Candace sighs.
We've all been up a while. Get some rest.
I know what I saw. He catches her eye. You look at the screen, its gridded view, showing the scattered signature of debris, like schools of fish drifting in a soft current. The manufactory is a noisy blob at the center of the circle, one that dissolves into the background at its edges. Nothing. And then there it is. A flicker, a flash, a spark of movement and light among one of the debris clouds. It flares, and then is gone again. You look up, and Seraphine meets your eye. He reads your expression immediately. Seraphine slams a hand down on the console, opening up the comms channel. Look alive, Flint. They're coming in. Go deep and be ready to run. He pulls his hand off the switch. We better hope they heard that. Then you see it through the cockpit glass. The flare of an engine, faint and masked, but driving a squat, dark ship out of the debris. The Hunter. The ship seems to idle a little near the manufacturer's asteroid, drifting past the dressed-up shell of the old facility.
Time to see if our fake colony's convincing enough.
Candace nervously clasps her hands together.
Will they buy it?
They better. Seraphine looks concerned, because if they think this place looks abandoned, the Hunter might just strafe the whole facility. Seraphine swallows hard. We need them to dock, to come inside. You look out at the ship, and as you do, it jumps forward, towards the docking tower. You watch for a few tense moments as it hesitates, and then slides into position into one of the docking bridges. Candace sighs in relief.
They went for it.
Seraphine pats you on his shoulder. Good job. The rat's in the maze. We can track him now. He exhales. At least that's the theory.
I hooked up some basic monitoring devices in the assembly line.
Xander calls over from another console.
A few cameras, repurposed from the factory monitoring systems. Not much, but hopefully enough to tell where they're at.
Candace, Seraphine, and you crowd around the screen. Xander flicks between noisy black and white images and feeds of static. You squint into the fizzing dark, trying to pick out any detail. And suddenly you see them. A shadow, drifting beneath the flickering light, dark clad in military gear. A long gun held ready at their shoulder, deathly pale skin, and in their eyes, gleaming through the faceplate, glowing irises. Who is that? Seraphine pulls back from the screen. They look like
A sleeper.
Xander finishes Seraphin's sentence. The figure disappears outside the margins of the frame, and Xander flicks through the feeds.
Where did they go?
You drift back from the screen, trying to think straight. The hunter's a sleeper, or something else. You replay the image of the figure in your mind, but it has already shifted in your memory. It's your face, staring back. It's Flint's. It's the sleeper's mask of death. Sleeper. Seraphin grabs you by both shoulders and looks you in the eye. We need to focus.
We should get down there.
Xander's eyes are wide.
This changes things.
This changes nothing. Seraphin nods. We wait for Flint's signal. We hold here. The ordnance is in place. Seraphin looks at you for reassurance. The moment we get the signal, we blow it. You think of the mining charges rigged in daisy chains, the fuel barrels lashed to detonators, the command code ready to transmit from the rig. Seraphin sees the determination in your eyes. We hold. So you wait. Candance's eyes on the manufactory below. Xander tapping at the glass. Seraphin perched by the console listening for the signal. Then you hear it. The hiss of an open comms channel. You look to Seraphin and he hears it too. A static haze that fills the cockpit. You all go still. Seraphin nods towards the indicator on the console. It's Flint's channel. A click. A scrape. Then silence. Seraphin nods, frowns, tapping at the controls. What? He scrolls. Flint's transceiver is gone. It's dead. Panic hits the cockpit. Xander gliding over the console. Candance going pale. Sleeper? Seraphin turns and looks back over his shoulder towards you. We need to go in.
Go.
Candance looks between you, Seraphin, and Xander with a steady expression.
I'll stay here.
She glances nervously at the console.
Give me the signal and I'll send the detonation signal.
She swallows hard.
If it works.
Seraphin looks torn for a moment and then nods. Let's go. You rush down to the airlock and suit up with the others, and then you're out. Descending through the rock-strewn void in tense silence. You enter the manufactory through a gap in the frame, passing through layers of twisted facility into the deep parts where you know Flint waits in the dark. You say nothing to each other, afraid the comms will be intercepted. You lead Xander and Seraphin on, seeking the deep bays under the silos where you began setting up the ordnance. Though unfinished, perhaps there's enough down here for this to work. If not... Seraphin's hand falls on your shoulder, pulling you back. You go to speak, and then you see it, a torch beam lancing through the dark. The hunter, as you saw them on the grainy footage of Xander's cameras, but real now, just below, a long gun held ready at their shoulder, pushing through the dark and broken layers of the facility, seeking Flint. Seraphin, Xander, and you exchange wide-eyed glances in silence. The hunter passes below, disappearing into a dark passage. You wait together, a moment stretching out, then descend down into that same passage. The silence is absolute. Suddenly there's a flash of light ahead, bright and forceful, and a rumble that shakes rust flakes from the walls. Xander pushes off hard, launching past you into the dark. Seraphin goes too, and you instinctively glide forward as another rumble shakes the foundations of the facility. You come into a low bay scattered with glowing embers. Scorched holes in the walls spew drops of red-hot metal where a weapon has been discharged. The hunter floats at the center, taking aim again, and you see a flicker of movement on the far side. Flint, retreating. Before you can act, a slight figure in a suit slams into the back of the hunter. Xander, as he hits, the hunter's gun spins out of their hand. Oh no! We gotta grab the gun, I guess. Whoa, we got good stuff. You kick off away from Xander and the hunter as they grapple together, spinning in the dark towards a deep shaft at the far side of the bay. You spot the shape of the long gun as it spins ahead of you. As you reach it, your hand locking around the sculpted grip, you spin and raise it. You take a moment to steady your aim. The scorching shot grazes the side of the hunter's suit in a flurry of sparks. They're thrown away from Xander, unable to find anything to slow their glide. The hunter disappears into the dark of the shaft, leaving a trail of embers in the dark. You see fear in Xander's eyes as they turn back to you. The muzzle of the gun smokes, glowing red. It's spent.
I've got Flint.
Seraphin calls over local comms. We ascend, now! You look across to the two of them, kicking off from the floor of the bay towards a ragged hole in the ceiling. You and Xander exchange a single glance, then follow.
Cadence.
Seraphin's on the wideband.
Detonate this place now. Send the command.
There's silence. You ascend through it, through the layers of the manufactory, seeking the open void of space beyond. You clear the manufactory, gliding into open space. A silent shockwave, like a gust of wind, runs through the void. The silent rumble spits out a scatter of debris. You turn back, still gliding towards the ship, and see the shattered manufactory. Whole sections are bending outward, the framework shredded, plating tumbling away in shards. You look across at Seraphin and Flint, their eyes set on the ship, trying only to stay ahead of the debris. You do the same, fixing your attention on the rig and nothing else. The hunter is dead. Well, we assume the hunter's dead. There's no actual knowing that for sure. But let's grab some supplies before we go anywhere. You limp back to Oliveira. The mood in the rig one of deep exhaustion. But as the colony appears visible from the cockpit, the satisfaction of having run a terrifying gauntlet and come back in one piece shifts the mood. The crew's improved mood only becomes more obvious as you draw closer to Oliveira. As you come in to dock with the colony, you feel a wave of relief. Seraphin pats you on the shoulder as you both wait for the airlock to open. That hunter, he sighs. Essenarp is crueler than I could have imagined. It doesn't surprise me. It's a nasty logic. Send a sleeper to catch a sleeper. Seraphin shakes his head. I'm glad we bought for Flint some freedom. The airlock hisses open, revealing the docking bridge where Xander first confronted you. This time, another more substantial figure waits in the passage.
I hear you're the ones I should be thanking for saving my life.
Carmen leans against the side of the tunnel, one arm clamped against his waist.
So, thank you.
He nods at the two of you. We have things to discuss.
I'm sure we do.
He smiles slyly.
But let's not do that in a docking tunnel, shall we?
Carmen. Cadence rushes past the two of you, gliding into Carmen with an embrace strong enough to leave the injured man off balance.
All right, careful. You don't want to put me back in the med bay, do you?
Carmen pushes Cadence back with a gentle grip on her shoulders. He flinches as he does, his joke clearly holding some truth.
Sorry, Cadence smiles. Just glad to see you up.
A frown crosses Carmen's face.
Where's Xander? You losing your vision, old man?
You look back to see Xander and Flint behind you in the tunnel. Xander smiles widely at Carmen, betraying his happiness to see him.
I'll be just fine, Xan.
Carmen's words are confident, but his tone suggests he isn't convinced. You notice his hands are tightly balled into fists, as if resisting pain, and wonder if he should really be up at all. Carmen turns to look at you and Seraphin.
I think we need to talk. How about you two and Flint accompany me to the med bay?
Carmen winks. Flint pushes past you both and goes to Carmen, helping him out of the tunnel. As he does, they exchange a few words, but you're too far away to make them out. You and Seraphin exchange glances and follow behind them, into Oliveira. Carmen leads you into a small recovery chamber in the med bay, where his bed is set up. A handful of tubes and wires float gently beside it, attached to boxy devices. Flint has already left the group, leaving just you and Seraphin with Oliveira's injured founder. Carmen meets your eye with a hard look.
So, how did you two end up stumbling into our colony out in the shoals?
He raises an eyebrow.
Because we're not usually open to visitors.
Ankita sent us to you. You see the flicker of recognition in Carmen's eyes when you mention Ankita. You produce the thumbnail drive, holding it out for Carmen to inspect.
She told Sleeper to deliver this to you, and you alone.
Seraphin folds his arms. Carmen pauses thoughtfully.
That's a name I've not heard for a while.
He takes the drive.
It seems I should thank you again, he sighs. And perhaps I owe you some explanation myself. Nikita and I used to work together a lifetime ago.
Carmen shakes his head.
We went our separate ways, but then she turned back up in Oliveira. I established this colony as a refuge, a way of starting again.
Carmen clasps his hands together.
The belt is changing, and I'm afraid of what's coming. Ankita took refuge here for a short while, and then one cycle she was gone. Carmen shrugs. That's not unusual for her. Each of us has our own demons.
He holds up the drive.
I'll take a look at what's on here, when I'm able.
He looks at the drive with concern.
And I'll let you know what I find.
You and Seraphin thank him and leave the chamber as he settles back on his recovery bed. As you leave, Flint catches your attention.
Can we speak?
Seraphin pauses. I'll catch you back on the rig. He looks between the two of you and then glides away. Flint hovers, a look of concern on his mask-like face. What do you need? Flint gives you a curious look.
You don't remember any of it, do you?
Any of what?
Of how you got here. Of your history.
Flint screws up their face in a pained expression.
At first, I thought you were hiding something, or you were intentionally avoiding the subject, so I waited. But I understand it now. You don't remember me at all.
You take a moment to think, to try to recall Flint. You furrow your brow in frustration, sifting through hazy memories of Darkside and further back, of your arrival to the belt. You close your eyes and see the faces of other sleepers, panicked, desperate, in darkness. I don't remember.
We worked together in the same Essenok mining installation, along with the other sleepers.
He searches your eyes for a spark of recognition.
We weren't close. I'm not sure we really spoke. Very few of us did. But I was there when we planned the escape together. The run to the freighter, collapsing the mine shaft.
Flint stops, struggling to continue in the face of the blank look you're giving them. You feel an unpleasant itch, as if something is crawling around inside your skull. You can see that Flint wants you to recall them, to recall the escape, the installation, but you find only hazy sensations, and beneath them, pain.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
Flint looks down.
I know you can't help it. I just needed to say something, to know if you really don't remember. Thank you for everything you've done for me. And for Oliveira.
Flint turns and drifts away dejectedly, unable to continue. As you watch Flint go, you scratch at the side of your head, trying to find something in the way they move, the way they speak, their mask-like face. A face that was identical to yours when it was first cast, but that over cycle after cycle of wear and damage has been transformed. Two machines, so close in form and function, estranged by experience. Okay, looks like we've got a couple of days, and we've got a couple of points. So what should we do? Interface, intuit, or endure?
Thanks for coming up, sleeper.
Carmen is waiting for you and Seraphin when you arrive at the medbay, looking a lot fresher. He leads you into a small alcove set up like an office with an aging terminal on a simple welded desk and a small window looking out across the dusty rock of Oliveira.
Got some news for us?
Seraphin asks impatiently. Since you arrived back from the manufactory, he's been restless, though you aren't sure why.
Not to worry,
Carmen sighs, grins slyly.
I think you'll want to hear this.
He hits a key on the terminal, and a file browser appears on the screen, showing hundreds of individual pieces of data.
Ankita's been busy. Carmen gestures to the screen. She's been scraping Utspo communications cycle after cycle. Got access to ciphers and encryption that only the gang's leadership should be able to see. He smiles. It seems she's learned some tricks since we worked together. But that's not what matters. What matters is the content of those messages.
He taps a few keys and loads some of the data, which scrolls down the screen.
Some parts of Utsubo leadership have been getting ideas. Idea about taking Greenbelt and controlling food production in the belt. About exerting power over Wellspring. Big ideas for a gang. But these Utsubo members aren't alone. They've found themselves a powerful ally.
Carmen shakes his head.
Senate Stat.
Senate Stat. One of two corporations fighting a bitter battle for control of the inner system. A pernicious force, one that Utsubo are opening a door for in the belt.
You can't be serious,
Seraphin cuts in. They can't be that stupid.
I don't know what to tell you. At least someone inside Utsubo is trying to broker a partnership.
Who? Seraphin leans over at the screen. You don't need Carmen's answer, and neither does Seraphin. Lane. Seraphin looks at you, shaking his head. It has to be Lane. Carmen looks between you both.
Seems like you already know something I don't.
Lane is a piece of garbage Utsubo leader who thinks he owns us. Seraphin shakes his head. Exactly the kind of garbage arrogant enough to try to manipulate Senate Stat.
Carmen nods thoughtfully. My condolences. I'm starting to see how you cross paths with Ankita.
Okay, why is Ankita telling you this?
Like I said, Ankita and I work together. To put it simply, we ran in the same mercenary outfit.
Carmen looks away.
A lot's happened since then, but this message, this data, it's her calling in a favor. And I owe her. That's for sure.
Carmen shakes his head and pushes himself off from the desk, crossing the room to look out of the window at Oliveira's pale and airless surface.
After what went down, I owe you both, too.
You look at Carmen, staring out at the surface of this hostile rock, and wonder what he sees out there. He established the colony as a fallback, a retreat, not just for him, for others too. But you get the feeling that Carmen knows any retreat is only ever temporary. He turns back to look at you.
And you, Sleeper? What do you do?
We take on Utsubo.
Take on a gang?
Carmen smiles.
Are you sure about that?
We're gonna end Lane, whatever it takes. Seraphin stares down at Carmen, fists balled. Carmen looks at you.
That one's gonna get you in trouble.
He turns to Seraphin.
But I like that energy.
He looks back out of the window.
This is not something we're gonna take head on. He shakes his head. Ankita sent us our weapon.
Carmen turns and gestures at the console screen with its reams of incriminating data.
Utsubo don't control all of Darkside. They only aspire to. They also claim to offer protection from the war between Senate Stat and Conway. That presents us with an opportunity. Utsubo is full of members who'd rather die than concede Darkside to corporate interest. We play this right, Utsubo will end Lane for us.
He smiles at Seraphin.
To use your phrase.
How do we do it? We can handle it. We've cracked Darkside once. We can do it again. Seraphin's confidence is infectious.
Is that right?
Carmen seems to be thinking something through. He crosses to the console, back to the window, and then to the console once more.
All right. I'm gonna need some time, but I can put this together.
Carmen nods at Seraphin.
We'll need that energy, but you also need to be ready. We rush this, it's not ending well, so I can wait.
Carmen turns his attention to you.
We'll go from Greenbelt when you're ready. I have friends there who can help get that ship of yours into Darkside.
Seraphin looks at you. We have our own preparations to make, but we'll be ready.
All right.
Carmen unplugs Ankita's drive and hands it to you.
Take this and get out of here. I don't want anyone finding this thing in my possession.
You take the tiny drive, somehow heavier now that you know it contains the key to exposing Lane. We'll see you in the Greenbelt.
They'll see you in the wheat, Chief.
Carmen smiles to himself.
They know me there. Just understand something.
Carmen's expression turned serious.
You want my help on this? There's no way we can let it get back to the colony. Once you leave here, you're not coming back to Oliveira. Not until we're done.
He meets your eye. He needs confirmation that you recognize the importance of understand this. I understand. Carmen nods.
Then you can go.
He returns to the window to stare at whatever it is he sees out there. among the dusty rocks. When you come back to the rig, Flint is waiting for you, leaning by the docking tunnel with a bag over their shoulder. They look up as you approach. "Hey," Flint nods a greeting, appearing a little unsure. "Hey."
I know you've already done a lot for me, so I'm not going to push you or ask for your pity.
They pause. You feel like they've been preparing this speech.
First, I owe you, and I want to pay you back. I can work, and I can fight, and I'll protect this ship and this crew with everything I have. Secondly, we come from the same place, and whether you remember it or not, that means something. It must. I know I'm not the easiest to get on with. I know you might have your reservations about having another sleeper on the ship, but I'm eager. I'm ready. I want to move on, and I want to show my value."
They pause.
And, well, yeah, I think that's it.
You look at Flint. That frame's so much more damaged than yours, but with a fire burning in their eyes that makes them seem bigger than they are. "Welcome aboard." A smile spreads across Flint's face, and they look down to hide it.
Thank you, they say to the floor. This'll work out, you'll see.
Flint nods to you once more, then turns and glides down the docking tunnel towards the ship. As they do, two figures at the edge of the docking concourse catch your eye. You pause to look, shifting a little, and as you do, you recognize Candence leaning in. Some words are exchanged, ones you can only guess at, and then the other figure embraces Candence and turns back to the ship. As Seraphin approaches, he ducks his head, passing quietly past you into the docking tunnel without a word. You take one last look out at the docks, but Candence is gone. You idle a moment longer and feel that there's some presence, even in these empty bays, something rare in all the belt that Oliveira has captured. But as with all things, you must learn to leave it behind. Yeah, we've got new crew. All right, everybody. I think that will about do it. We got to overthrow Lane and investigate Hexport, and I feel like we're just getting so close to things. But first things first, we cannot go that way. We have to go back to the Hollow. So I'll meet y'all back here on the BackLog next time